right, last one for the day. Hopefully we'll cover the last two tomorrow. All right, so let's discuss Beyond the Sea. I don't know why I almost called it Under the Sea. I have a fucking Little Mermaid in my head right now. Yeah, Beyond the Sea. So, wow. What an episode. Yeah. Where to begin? So this stars Aaron Paul of Breaking Bad fame. Yep. I think he will always be attached to Jesse Pinkman. Josh Hartnett, which I haven't seen him in quite a while. He was quite the teen heartthrob back in the 90s during his H2O days with that horrendous haircuts that he had in that.
It's also in Penny Dreadful.
Oh, sure.
That's like what I'm...
Oh, well, I guess that's more recent.
H2O and Penny Dreadful. Like
he's great in Penny Dreadful.
I love him in that, yeah.
Yeah. And, anyways. And then we also got Kate Mara in here. But, and Kieran Culkin as well. Who has a very small part, but pretty damn effective. He plays that psycho guy pretty damn well.
Yes.
Okay, so, yeah, I mean, spoilers, obviously. This one was fucked up. Yeah. Like, man. I had called the ending, I don't know how long before, but I was just like, I said to you, like, I think he's probably going to kill his family.
I know. We had a few different, like,
theories
for how it would end, but you did call it, and it is super messed up. It's a super messed up ending. And there's a lot in the episode that is just kind of like...
So much to unpack with this one.
Yeah. It's like just tragic, right? Like, there's a lot of misunderstanding, I feel like, happening, and like jealousy and... like, I want to use the word coveting, like, people and things as your own, when, like, I feel like it could have all been avoided if there was more humanity and empathy between the two of them.
Did you find any real reason for this to be set in 1969 and not in, like, 2069?
I guess not really, other than just that it's, like, in space. But no.
Why would...
I don't know.
I don't understand what that
means.
means.
1969, like...
I mean, I get the relevance of the 60s and, like, the moon landing and all of that, but, like, that technology, we don't even have anything remotely close to it now.
I know.
So, well, I shouldn't say remotely. I guess we technically have certain things that could be close-ish, but not really, right? Like, we're not... No, I'm going to stick with my statement and say we're nowhere near close to being able to create an exact duplicate of someone, a replica, like Blade Runner, and then to be able to send your signals back and forth through space so that you can control two different bodies at two different times. We're nowhere near close to that. I was going to say we do have the ability for... It doesn't matter.
I think that it was set mostly for, like, some aesthetic purposes, I guess. Yeah. And because of the relevance of the 60s. But, I mean, yeah, I guess I don't really see that there was any other reason for it to be not in modern day.
Yeah.
It didn't really bother me, though. Like, I didn't really care that it was set in the 60s. I think it's just, like, the style.
The only reason I even say that is just because, as I said, we just don't have that kind of technology. And in this show, they usually are like in the future with futuristic technology. And in this one, they set it in the 60s with technology we don't even have in 2023.
But it is like an alternate...
It's an alternate version. 60s, but like, the 60s alternate? Wouldn't be the 60s if we had that kind of technology.
It's an alternate,
right? An alternate
technological advance.
It's a technologically advanced 60s, so the 60s wouldn't be the 60s anymore, right? Because the technological advances is what advances society along with it, right? So in order to get to that place, and I'm way overthinking this, but in order to get to that place, you would have to have so much, ingenuity and breakthroughs in technology and whatever, that it would have had to start decades and decades and decades and decades before to get up to that point.
Yeah.
So if you started the technology back in the 1800s, which is about where it would need to start to get to the technology that we're talking about in this, or maybe even freaking further back, the society would be evolved, right? If they had that technology that they had in this episode, if they could do that, they could have freaking driverless cars and so many different kinds of technologies that have robots taking care of like all of your shit. But for this to be like in this, it doesn't matter. I'm going to move on from that. I just thought that was an odd choice because I couldn't find any reason outside of making it like a Manson family-esque kind of cult that kills his family.
I think that the bigger like issue is like why they wouldn't send their replicas up, which we talked about.
Yeah, why is there?
I don't understand why the replicas wouldn't go up to space and their real life bodies would stay down.
I was hoping they would address that because that was like one of my very first questions.
It's
like,
not.
Why wouldn't they send the replicas up there?
Especially when it's like, I mean, I guess maybe I don't know, maybe the technology like wouldn't be able to like withstand like the lack of.
But that's fine. Explain it in the show. It would take a minute.
Yeah,
30 seconds.
Because the way that it works is like they spend all their time, like with their families, like on the planet, and they only go up there like for like a couple days or a day or something, or when there's an emergency or whatever.
Right? They're basically robots up there.
Yeah.
Right. And if you have this kind of technology, I feel like you could just you would though. That's just it. That's the reality though. It would be their fake selves. It would be their replicas up there.
Right.
And their human selves on the planet. It wouldn't make any sense to send the humans up there.
No, none at all. I do feel like that it's reversed solely so that we get this, like, so that we get the drama of this episode and everything. And that's, it's fine. Like, I guess just whatever. Like, they're not going to explain it and they sent the real people up there. But yeah, to me, it just would have made so much more sense. But again, if they did it that way, there really wouldn't be the story like it is now.
Is there even an explanation of what the hell they're even doing up there?
No, they just kind of mentioned that they're on like a 6-year mission or something. I don't know. And
because if they could have added to that, like, oh, we need humans here because we're gonna do something.
Sure.
Right.
Like anything like that. I don't think there's any. It's very vague why they're even up there. Yeah.
So can someone explain to us why the humans aren't on Earth and why the replicas are the ones up there? Because that would make way more sense. Because the dangers of space, if you could have replicas that you can control through a link, of course you'd put the robots in space where it's super dangerous, and then the person living with the family at home would be your organic self. Doesn't make any sense that your fake self
would be the one down on
they would have to say like, well, what if it fails and we need real people up there because the mission you're on is imperative to saving life.
Sure.
Right? And if you guys aren't up there, if something goes wrong, we need you guys up there. And if it doesn't work out, it could mean the deaths of millions.
Yeah. Something
like that. Just some quick explanation of why the hell it's not reversed. It doesn't matter. Moving on. It does matter, but it just let's move on. But yeah, I mean, he gets everything taken from him, and yeah, there's definitely going to be people who see this as, a abomination. And this cult guy and his followers, this Manson-esque Sharon Tate type murder that they commit, they take everything from this guy, and he's just a broken man who is now trapped in space.
So sad.
There was so many different ways they could have went with this.
Yes.
And they decided on going with the darkest way they could have.
Yeah. I definitely also was like
great.
Questioning, like, because they do address like, why can't they just give him another replica? And it's like, because he's up there, like they can't like replicate him anymore. But like I told you, I feel like they should just give him whatever. Like I don't think it would matter what you look like if you could find like somebody who is like a similar size to you, just because the whole point to me of them having the like ability to go into their replicas on Earth is because being up there and isolated from like human contact
Sure.
is so dangerous to your mental health, and especially when he's been through something like he has, like you would want him to be able to get out of the space station, you know, like because it's just like he's sitting up there in a tin can, like just going insane.
Yeah, there's no communication or anything from ground control.
Yeah,
it's like too bad, so sad.
It's just these two. Yeah, they just like have to do it themselves, and you know, I think that I don't know their names.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So it sucks. But Aaron Paul's like his character was frustrating to me in some ways, and
he's a shitty husband.
He's a bad husband and not a great father, like very like strict and by the book. But I do feel like if he had been more understanding and empathetic towards his coworker, this guy that he's been in space with for like the past 2 years, going through what he went through, like it doesn't take much to just imagine, like he lost his whole family and he watched them die. Like, all he has to do is just imagine himself in that situation, watching his family die.
Yeah.
And he would know a little bit of how it felt. Like, a tiny, tiny bit.
I thought that's how the episode was going to end, with, you know, David telling Cliff, those are their names. I thought he was going to be like, now you know how it feels.
Sure.
Right, I thought that's what he was going to end the episode on, but it was just like kicks the chair out and it was like, sit down. I'm surprised we didn't see them go at each other.
I mean, like at that point, it's like they're just going to kill each other up there. I don't see what else they can do. And it sucks because it's like David, when he like the him killing the family is just like, you don't appreciate what you have.
So
like,
I'm gonna take
you
it
don't
from
deserve them, so I'm gonna literally kill them, which is insane because it's like he had a thing for the wife. Although I don't know how much of that was real and how much of that was just like he's been, you know, he needed like an outlet for his like.
Well, she admits to it to a degree, right? She's like, I
does.
wanted him to, because I wanted you to. So she's not in love. She doesn't have any feelings for David. She just has feelings for Cliff that isn't getting reciprocated. Right. And David is I guess Cliff is the conduit. He's the vessel. And David is just the inhabitant that is puppeting his body in a way that she would want him to act.
Sure.
So it's like, I don't want David to act this way. I want Cliff to act this way. But when David's in there and I see my husband acting a way towards me, it's what I want from my husband.
Right. Like
and he, of course, takes it the wrong way because he's fucking lost it. He has full cabin fever at this point.
Well, exactly.
He's by himself.
That's what I mean.
He's completely went nuts. And what did you think was going to happen?
Exactly.
Like, I don't condone his actions, but it is one of those situations where it's like, when you push something too hard, when you push something too far, it's gonna break.
Of course.
Right? And then you become just as much at fault as they do.
Well, and Cliff's like response to everything, like I think it happens like 2 times where he's like, she's mine. Like they're mine. Like he
sees her as a possession.
Yeah, he's so possessive about it, and it's just like he's not necessarily trying to steal your family. He's just trying to feel like family love again.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, like you don't get the impression there's never like a setup that they're actually friends. Like they do feel they're very different from each other.
Yeah.
Like David before everything is like super social and talkative and outgoing and like really happy. And Cliff is like, he literally moves them out into the middle of the woods because he doesn't want to be around people and like doesn't like, like that.
He's not only antisocial, but he also moves them out there so that he can, keep them away from everyone.
Right. He doesn't want them like around people, which is shitty because she's like, David, like he says, like she was a social butterfly when I met her. Like, how is she doing? And she's like asking Cliff, like, can we have a party and all this stuff? And he's like prohibiting her from being herself. And it's a really weird, like, them being together makes, like, no sense because of, like, how different their personalities are. And how it's not even, like, they have different personalities, but they, like, complement each other. And, like, it's not that. Like, he doesn't, like, encourage her to bring him out of his shell or anything. He just is like, it's my way, and that's it.
And he admits to hitting his kid a lot.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, it makes sense. His kid is like weird in this for sure. He's just quiet though, and like the scene where he's like, "Can I please get up from the table, sir?" or something. Oh my
god! And he's
just like,
"Good boy."
Good boy.
Yeah.
Dude, what?
This is, I mean, this is pretty standard, like, parenting of the time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know there's some parents that weren't like that, but there's so many that were. Even in my generation, half my freaking, half the parents I knew hit their kids. That is just pretty standard. Nowadays, that's becoming obviously way less frequent.
I mean, thank goodness, because it's not like how you should be handling children at all.
Yeah. Well, don't even get me started on that.
Yeah.
I could go on for an hour over that. But yeah, I think with Cliff, we see a very unhappy man. You see David is a very happy man. He gets everything taken from him. Mm-hmm. He sees that Cliff takes his family for granted. Mm-hmm. That he wants to give his family. He wants what Cliff has, and Cliff doesn't really want what he has. He just wants it because he thinks it's his possession.
Right.
It's my family. It's my kid. It's my wife. Like, I want them, but I don't want them.
Right. He just, like, because it's like, it's almost like he knows that that's, like, what he's supposed to have or whatever.
And he owns them.
Because
it's his property.
The other thing, too, is, like, Cliff says to her, like, how does he know I don't touch you? Like, he doesn't even have sex with his wife.
God.
They just had a kid and that's it. Like, they don't have any chemistry, anything anymore.
She's
it's
dead
like,
inside.
it's weird, but it's like, why? Like, are you not attracted to her? I honestly almost for a second when he said that was like, is he gay? Like, is that what this is going to be about? Like, he's just not heterosexual? Because that also happened to, like, a lot of people where they were forced into, heterosexual relationships and they're gay and, like, but I don't know. I don't think that was the case. Obviously, it was never addressed like that, but it
just seems like a miserable person.
It's just so awful.
Right. And yeah, I mean, the fact that he takes his family from him, it's such a grim ending. Yeah. I mean, just for him to wake up covered in blood and that, and the other thing to address here, that's just like, it is one of my true fears, right? It's very Shining-esque in a way, where it's like, even though it was David killing them, what they saw and what the son saw, because while Lana, his wife, may have known it was him, I would assume she probably realized it was David. We don't know. We didn't see it happen, so we don't know what the interaction was like. We don't know if he was yelling something or if he just came in and started beating him to death or whatever. However the hell he killed him, I don't know. There's blood everywhere though, so he definitely bludgeoned them
on them,
in some way or another. But the kid probably died thinking his father was murdering him.
Of course,
And even if Lana knows that it's David, she's still watching her husband's body kill her. Even though it's technically a replica body, but it's his likeness and his image. Like, if someone took over my image and was killing you,
it would
even
still
if you
be terrifying.
even if you knew it wasn't me, you'd still see me killing you.
Yes,
that's
awful.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
It's so awful. Yeah.
But yeah, a very dark episode. But once again, just why the replicas aren't the ones in space. I genuinely have nothing on that one. I wish they would have just addressed it. They could have done it in 30 seconds, given even the dumbest explanation. I wouldn't have really cared.
Yeah.
But unless we missed it.
Yeah, maybe we missed it. Let us know.
I don't think we did.
I didn't think we did.
It would have just been cool to see an explanation, but whatever. But yeah, good performances. Aaron Paul, as always, is an excellent actor.
Yes.
Doesn't get anywhere near enough credit for it. And it's just, it's a very deep episode because it asks a lot of questions about a lot of different things. And, you start to think about, like, their relationship and her relationship with David and what she really did want. And you know, I think we explored all that pretty well. But that's that, I guess. Anything else to say about this episode?
No.
Yeah. Really good. For
Yeah,
sure.
really good.
I don't know. Jonah's awful in this. I'm kind of back and forth on him. Maybe this, just because it's so dark.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously into the dark stuff.
Yeah.
But I also love the very like happy ending of Jonah's awful as well. So I guess there is some life, some hope in me.
A little bit.
But yeah, what do you guys think of this episode? What's been your favorite episode of the season? We will be back tomorrow to discuss, what are the other? Maisie Day, which has a 5.9. So currently 7.9, 7.8, 8.1, 5.9, 7.7. So for some reason, Maisie Day is the one that is getting shit on currently. We'll see. I'm sure if I went into the comments, it would be like, woke!
Yeah.
But we'll see. So there we go. We'll see you guys tomorrow with the other 2 episodes, and we're gonna go watch Maisie Day right now. Bye.
Bye.